Most men today think discipline is about motivation, routines, or productivity hacks. But the ancient world had a very different understanding, one forged in blood, sweat, and survival. No group embodied discipline more brutally and more completely than the gladiators. For them, discipline wasn't a lifestyle choice. It wasn't something they tried when they felt inspired. It wasn't something meant to improve their mood or help them get ahead. Discipline was the thin line between life and death. Every day was a test. Every sunrise demanded proof of their commitment. Every moment of weakness carried consequences. They didn't pursue discipline, they lived inside it. And if a modern man studied the way gladiators trained their minds and bodies, he'd realize how soft the world has become and how powerful he could be if he adopted even a small fraction of that mindset. The gladiator's blueprint wasn't built on glamour or glory. It was built on purpose, structure, and relentless self-command. They woke up with one reality carved into their minds: nobody is coming to save you. No one will do your work for you. No one will carry your burden. If you want to survive, you must train harder, think sharper, and endure more than the man standing in front of you. Modern men have comfort. Gladiators had consequences. Comfort makes you negotiate. Consequence makes you commit. The first pillar of a gladiator's discipline was obedience, but not to a master. Obedience to their own duty. They followed routines without question, not because they were forced, but because hesitation could cost their life. They didn't wait to feel ready. They didn't hope for a good day or a good mood. They understood that the body follows the command of the mind, and the mind must never bow to laziness or fear. When something needed to be done, it was done, not discussed, not postponed. The second pillar was physical hardship. A gladiator didn't fear effort. Effort was home. Pain was familiar. Exhaustion was expected. The modern man thinks discomfort is a sign to stop. The gladiator saw discomfort as proof he was becoming stronger. Every cut, every bruise, every aching muscle was information, not an excuse. Pain taught them where they were weak. Weakness showed them where to train. Training revealed who they could become. Gladiators didn't numb pain, they studied it. The third pillar was mental stillness. It might seem strange to imagine men who lived through violence practicing calm, but this was their greatest advantage. In the arena, panic was death. Fear made you sloppy. Emotion made you predictable. A gladiator survived by keeping his mind cold even while chaos exploded around him. He trained himself to slow time in his head, to observe instead of react, to move with intention instead of impulse. Most men today get overwhelmed by small problems: stress at work, a rude comment, relationship tension, financial pressure. Their minds spiral because they've never trained themselves to stay centered. Gladiators learned to hold their mental ground no matter what storm hit them. Their body moved with power, but their mind moved with silence. The fourth pillar was purpose. Every gladiator had a reason to fight: freedom, honor, redemption, survival. Purpose gave suffering meaning. It turned training from a burden into a path. It transformed fear into fuel. Modern men often collapse because they have no compelling reason to endure discomfort. Without purpose, discipline feels like torture. With purpose, discipline feels like destiny. The fifth pillar was comradeship, but not in the modern, emotional sense. Their brotherhood was built on shared struggle. They pushed each other, sharpened each other, challenged each other. A gladiator didn't want weak men around him. Weak men meant danger. He wanted strong men beside him because strength protects, motivates, and elevates. Today, most men are surrounded by people who drain their energy and soften their standards. A gladiator chose his circle with precision. If a man lacked discipline, integrity, or courage, he was not someone to stand beside. The sixth pillar was repetition. Not variation. Not entertainment. Repetition. They trained the same strikes, the same footwork, the same reactions thousands of times until they became instinctive. When the moment of pressure arrived, they didn't need to think, their body already knew. Modern men get bored easily. They want constant novelty. But mastery comes from doing the same thing until you stop doing it wrong. Gladiator discipline was built on mastery, And mastery only comes through repetition. The last pillar was acceptance. Not resignation, acceptance. A gladiator accepted the reality in front of him without complaining. He didn't deny hardship. He didn't sugarcoat the battle. He didn't waste time resisting what was already happening. He faced it directly. He adapted. He stayed present. He refused to be weakened by fantasies of how life should be. And because of that, he became stronger than the average man could ever imagine. What makes the Gladiator blueprint so powerful is that it still works today even though the stakes are different. You don't need an arena. You don't need armor or weapons. You don't need enemies. Life itself is the arena now. Your habits are your weapons. Your discipline is your armor. Your mind is your shield. The modern world tries to make men soft, tries to eliminate challenge, tries to convince them that struggle is unfair or unnecessary. But a man who adopts even a fraction of the gladiator mindset becomes rare in today's landscape. He becomes someone pressure cannot break. Someone fear cannot control. Someone comfort cannot weaken. Someone distraction cannot seduce. He becomes the kind of man others look at and instantly know, this one is built differently. Because he carries a toughness that wasn't inherited, it was forged. Forged through discipline, through action, through discomfort, through purpose, through mental stillness, through constant repetition. Gladiators were not superhuman. They were men who committed fully to their training, to their mission, to their path. And any man today, any man watching this, can do the same. You don't need perfection. You don't need motivation. You don't need ideal conditions. You need commitment. You need repetition. You need purpose. You need to stop negotiating with your moods. You need to accept that discomfort is the doorway to becoming someone you respect. The Gladiator blueprint isn't ancient. It's timeless. And a man who lives by it becomes strong in ways the modern world can't dilute.